Today on Teach Me How to Vegan.
So Silk also has a oat version or a oat line, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Called Oat Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And
yes.
they've got creamers, and then there's also barista edition oat milk,
Okay.
which is amazing for lattes and things like that to froth and make your beautiful
fancy
designs on
the top.
whatever people do. I don't do all that, but they've got that. So I think that's huge game changer.
Yeah.
Because I do like to go out occasionally for one of those fancy schmancy lattes, and to know that there's like amazing milks that are perfect for that is really fun. Welcome to Teach Me How to Vegan,
a podcast where we explore how to switch to a vegan diet.
I'm Tony, a health educator, fitness instructor, and plant-based eating program manager for Animal Protection of New Mexico.
I'm Mickey, a stay-at-home homeschooling mom and vegan cook who likes to play in the kitchen.
Our family stopped eating meat in 2007.
And we went vegan in 2016. Now we like to share with others what we've learned.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's get started.
Welcome, everyone. Now that we are more than 20 episodes in, we thought it's the perfect time to take a coffee break.
So proud of that, aren't you?
I am. So for all of our coffee connoisseurs, enthusiasts, lovers, all things coffee related, caffeine, welcome. If you're not super into coffee, this will still be a fun episode. Hopefully, not just because we are a delight to be around, but also because we're going to talk about other hot beverages.
Yes.
And, hopefully offer, most people like tea, hot cocoa. We're going to get into all kinds of other stuff other than coffee. But I want to do this episode, one, because I love coffee. I'm drinking coffee right now as we speak.
He is.
And also because I've heard lots of people say, it's one of those things like you hear often people say, I could be vegan, but I can't give up cheese. I will also hear people say, I could go vegan, but I need good creamer in my coffee. I need good coffee.
Yeah.
And I cannot
give that up.
Compromise on that.
There you go.
Right? And I'm in different groups online, and people post all the time. I tried almond milk in my coffee and it was disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, obviously, because that's gross. Don't do that.
Tony hates almond milk. He's a big hater of the almond milk, if you're new here. He's very, very particular about where almond milk is acceptable.
Yeah, I am. And don't ever,
it is not coffee.
Please don't put rice milk in your coffee.
Oh, gosh. No, you're extra with the rice milk. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I spoke too soon. It's the rice milk. He has massive issues with.
Massive issues. So I want to break it down and give you all of my tips and go-tos for delicious vegan coffee, because I'm with you. I'm one of those people. I had to have high quality half and half.
Yes, he does.
All the time before we went vegan. And I was kind of like one of those people that would only have certain types of coffee, like certain quality of coffee beans. I've chilled out a lot, but I hear you. So let's get into it. First of all, just coffee creamers. So if you're brand new to this, remember that just know that there are vegan coffee creamers. You don't have to use a plant-based milk in your coffee.
Right.
If you used a creamer or a half and half, there are plant-based versions of that.
And stay with those. If that is what you like, that is what you're used to, just switch to the plant-based creamers.
Right,
and keep going till you find one you love, because there are so many now.
Yeah, and I can pretty much guarantee you'll find one that you love.
Yes.
But just don't try one or two and that are gross and then think they're all gross.
No, keep going.
Because there are some that they are not acceptable. And I'm sure they're quality products and people love them and they're great, and I don't want to diss them, but they are not acceptable in my home.
Oh my goodness. Clearly we know who buys the creamer in this house.
Oh God, I'm getting all passionate about this because it's a serious thing. Clearly.
I don't know, maybe you need another detox.
I know, I've had too many coffees this morning.
I'm sure people are saying, what for? So anyway, sorry, creamers.
So yeah, it like I said, if you are used to a creamer or a half and half, and then you even just go to like whole milk, whole cow milk, that's a big jump, and it's the same.
It's similar with the plant-based creamers and milks.
Yeah. And like you said, there's so many different brands. New ones are coming out all the time. My tried and true go-to that's always been there for me my whole vegan life is the Silk Soy Original. That's for me the gold standard.
Yeah, that's his gold standard. It's the blue container with the little red bar at the top that says original.
Exactly. What I love, never mind. I was going to go on a whole rant about how amazing it is, but I'll let you decide. But I always encourage people to try that one.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really close comparison to like dairy half and half. And it doesn't like some other plant-based creamers or milks like separate in your coffee or do weird things.
Yep.
This one never does that.
No, it doesn't. Me,
and that's another thing that's great about it. So without spending half an hour talking about that, I also just want to throw out there, side note, we use that sometimes, or my sister uses that in our mashed potatoes for the holidays to make it like extra creamy. You know, sometimes you put like milk or whole milk in your mashed potatoes.
No, some people straight up put half and half.
Or they'll straight up put half and half. She'll put the Silk Original Soy Creamer and it's fabulous. So that's my go-to. Silk also has a whole wide variety of coffee creamers and all of them honestly are really good.
Yeah, they are.
They've got an almond version which is really good and surprisingly creamy for being almond.
Is that my sweet and creamy?
That's your sweet and creamy go-to.
I thought it was an almond.
It is almond.
It is. And he will drink it if that's all that's in the house. He will drink it.
It's acceptable.
Use it. It passes the acceptability test in this house for him. It does.
It does.
It's the rice. That's why I misspoke, because really it's the rice milk that just don't even think about putting that in your coffee, in his opinion. That's why I misspoke, because there's an almond or two, because I think sometimes at the holidays there's is it pumpkin?
Yeah,
the
Silk
pumpkin
makes
creamer,
a pumpkin
and I think that's
creamer,
almond based as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not soy based; it's their almond one.
Yeah, and it's really good. It is. We'll give it.
But it's the creamer.
Creamer, not milk. Not almond milk.
I think that's why it's acceptable. But the sweet and creamy is I really like that a lot. It's super delicious. I am not a big coffee person. I grew up in hot and humid Miami. Nobody in my house drank coffee. So I never really, it was cafe con leche or espressos, those tiny little Cuban coffees. That was it. That's what I grew up with. So I'm not a coffee person. And so I am totally fine without it, because I realized, growing up with cafe con leche, I really like a little bit of coffee with my milk and sugar type of situation.
To quote the Beastie Boys, I like my sugar with coffee and cream.
Exactly. Something like that. So, but the sweet and creamy is like, it's just sweet enough that I don't have to add anything to make it sweeter. And it genuinely is creamy. Like, it lives up to its name, sweet and creamy. It's really delicious. And it's also really fantastic with chai tea. Like, just a bag of chai tea, like not that mix with the milk and chai latte stuff.
Like brewed.
Just brewed chai tea, and you put that sweet and creamy. Oh my goodness.
It is really good that way.
It's so good. So I know I jumped the gun there. Maybe you can move it, but sweet and creamy is my thing.
That's okay. You were feeling inspired. I want to let you have some inspiration in this episode too.
Thanks.
So Silk also has a oat version, or a oat line, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Called Oat Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And they've got creamers, and then there's also like a barista edition oat milk.
Okay.
Which is, like amazing for lattes and things like that, to froth and make your beautiful,
fancy designs on the top.
Whatever people do. I don't do all that, but they've got that. So I think that's huge game changer.
Yeah.
Because I do like to go out occasionally for one of those fancy schmancy lattes, and to know that there's like amazing milks that are perfect for that.
Yeah.
Is really fun. And then Silk also has a half and half. It's literally called half and half.
Yeah.
And it's half oat milk and half coconut milk.
It's really good.
And it's really good. It's got the creamy factor.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't have any hint of sweetness.
Right.
So like the Soy Original, it has a hint of sweetness. The
very
slightest,
tiny.
It's not like, it doesn't taste like you sweetened your coffee.
Right.
It's interesting, but when I use that, I won't use any sweetener. But if I use the half and half, I need just a drop of agave or something.
See, with me, I only don't use sweetener with sweet and creamy.
Right. Yeah.
With the Silk Original and the half and half, I do need sweetener.
But I just like to just take the edge off.
Yeah.
Of the like black coffee could be a little bitter.
Yeah.
And I just need like just literally a drop of agave will take that out. And so I like it mostly unsweetened. But, dairy milk adds a hint of sweetness as well. It's got a little bit, just the slightest bit of
it just
natural
takes that
sugars
bitter
in
off. It cuts the bitter.
Yeah, but when you use that half and half, you need just a drop of something, I think. And then Silk also has a heavy whipping cream.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Which is, you would think, not really coffee related, but I've known a person or two who likes to just straight up put heavy whipping cream in their coffee. Well, we were at a holiday party one time, and someone made coffee, and I was looking for the creamer, and they were like, "Oh, I just used the heavy whipping cream in the fridge." And I was like, "Okay." And then when I tried it, I was like, "Oh wow,
wow."
I don't want to do this on the daily, but I could see why you do this. So if you're one of those people, they've got you covered with that heavy whipping cream. Mm-hmm. And again, you'll probably need a splash of sweetener with that because it's not really sweet, but we actually talked about that in another episode about all the wonderful things that I do with that. I'm not going to rehash that here because I was really just putting myself out there.
You put yourself on blast.
So moving on, So Delicious brand makes some really good coffee creamers. Mm-hmm. They make one from coconut milk. Personally, I'm not a fan of coconut based coffee creamers. But So Delicious brand is pretty good.
But that's also why we were surprised that you like the half and half so much.
I was. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
because when I first saw it, I was like, ew, coconut milk.
Yeah, he was not convinced. He wasn't. And then we tried it and he was like, oh, wait a minute. So if you're not into coconut and you hear coconut is in the half and half, there you go.
And it doesn't have any coconut
It does not have coconut flavor.
I wouldn't like in coffee. But So Delicious also has an oat-based creamer, and what's cool about them is they have some different flavors and some unique flavors, like Snickerdoodle. So if you like those like flavored coffees, you can venture out with that. So I'd recommend that. And then they have a good vanilla one.
Yeah.
So Silk also has a good vanilla version as well.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to. Those are like my favorite brands. There's again so many others. Coffee Mate has a vegan.
Yeah, that Natural Bliss one,
line,
right?
Yeah, you have to be careful because they have a Natural Bliss line, and some of them are vegan, and some of them are like organic dairy or something. Yeah. So you have to like pay attention. But they do have a whole line of those. There are just countless other brands.
Yes.
So if you try these ones, you're like, Tony, you don't know what you're talking about. These are no good. Try those other ones because I guarantee you there's a taste for you out there.
Yeah, there's so many. Just now, like, obviously Walmart's going to have slim pickings in these areas, but like Sprouts, Whole Foods, Natural Grocers, those kinds of places might have a bigger variety.
Yeah, I think especially Sprouts, they have like probably 6 or 7 different brands.
I know for how small those stores kind of are, they do carry a lot of non-dairy creamers.
Yeah. And I'm not going to name drop any other brands because I said there's some I really don't like and I don't want to turn people off, but just venture out because for everyone that I hate, I've met someone who loves it and it's their go-to.
Exactly.
All right. So I also wanted to mention that you can do your own homemade creamers. And trust me, the first time I heard somebody talk about this, I was like, that is never going to work. You're never going to get the creaminess you need.
And then guess what happened?
What had happened was we ran out of creamer and I didn't want to get dressed and go to the store. So I was like in emergency mode. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot because we have raw unsalted cashews on hand. And I made it and I was like blown away that it was so good.
Yeah.
So basically you just take raw cashews, unsalted, and you soak them. You can soak them for a couple hours. If you don't have a couple hours and you're in emergency mode like I was, you just soak them in boiled water for like a couple minutes or hot water for a few minutes. Drain the water, put them in a blender with some water, blend it up, and you're done.
Yeah, it's so easy.
So easy. If you use almonds or something else, you have to like strain them because it gets like grainy or something. But if you have cashews and a decent blender, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
which is beautiful about it.
Tony was amazed.
I was amazed. I roughly used about 1 cup of cashews to like 2 cups of water.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. I always kind of just wing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know our measurements with the jars that I use in our home, so I don't know exactly what the measurements are. It's like 1 jar of water and a cup of cashews. But anyway, super creamy.
Yeah,
super
it was
delicious,
really good.
Super delicious, and I would highly recommend it. So I love that I have that backup.
Yeah. As long as we got the cashews.
Because I used to be one of those people that freaked out. Like, we can never run out of coffee. We can never run out of creamer. Or I'm going to freak out and have to go to the store or go to a drive-through coffee shop or something because I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm. This is true. This is true.
So I've been working on that, though. I've been having some interventions.
Self-interventions. That's all on him.
Yeah. No, it's all me. I'm working. Yeah. I'm working on myself constantly. And but it's good to know that we have this backup because we almost always have raw cashews because we use them for other recipes, and so I don't have to worry about that. It's going to be okay. Have a delicious
and I liked it. Like, and not being a coffee person at all and just being like, oh, I'm fine without it. Like, even I liked it. It was good. It absolutely did the trick, and it was tasty. It was quick. It was pretty easy. We didn't have to go to the store, which was nice. So like it's good. It was good.
For sure. And I learned that from a friend who told me that she does that to save money because she drinks so much coffee. She's like, if I bought like a good vegan creamer, I'd go bankrupt. So how am I going to save money? Oh, I can make it at home, buy raw cashews in bulk.
Which is interesting that the raw cashews in bulk would be cheaper than the vegan creamers for the level of coffee that she drinks.
Right.
So
now she might not be like a creamy snob like I am, and
she might not
and
use
they might
a lot
stretch
either,
longer.
Right. Yeah.
So there's lots of factors at play here, but I just thought it was interesting that you could save money going that route. All right, so moving on from creamers, let's just talk a bit about sweeteners because this might be a topic. Some people are trying to avoid sugar that's not vegan, and if this is your first time hearing this, some sugar is not considered vegan because they use bone char to process it, and so you have to look for a cane sugar that is labeled vegan. And sometimes they're not that hard to find, especially if you shop at Sprouts or
Walmart carries one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Florida Crystals or something.
Okay,
so of course it's a little more expensive, but I've ordered it from Walmart before. So it comes in like a little pourable container.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so it's becoming more widely available.
I'm pretty sure that one said vegan on it.
Yeah, so that's a great option if you want to sweeten it with that. There are also other plant-based sweeteners. There's agave, which we're big fans of, especially for coffee. I think it's the best sweetener for coffee and
Tony
tea.
he doesn't use anything else anymore except agave.
No, it's the bestest.
Yeah.
It's also the best for other things like atole and other things that I'm like, we have to have agave for that. There's also maple syrup, really great sweetener.
I like maple syrup in my coffee.
It is good. It's good backup.
I do like that.
And it's good to diversify. I don't want to be one of those people who we become too dependent on one crop or one thing, and that's a sustainability issue. So, we do like to venture out. And I don't sweeten my coffee every day. But anyway, maple syrup is a good one. There's also stevia that's plant-based. Personally, I'm not a fan of stevia, but some people are. So I just want to throw that out there. And I'm sure there are others. There is a vegan honey alternative that's made from apples. So if you really like honey, you can try that one. It's really good. I've tried it on sopapillas, and it's really good. Really amazing.
Nice.
So, just experiment with different sweeteners. Find the one that you like. And again, these are good for coffee, good for teas, whatever you're into.
Yes.
So quickly, let's talk about hot chocolate.
Yes.
Because you like hot chocolate. Sometimes I want coffee.
Yes.
On a cold day, you want some hot chocolate.
Yes.
The kids are huge fans of hot chocolate. So with hot chocolate, you can do it very simply. We have a simple homemade recipe on our website.
Comes from our house.
Yeah, and so that's when we make it for 4 people.
Yeah, and our 14-year-old has been making it for 1 or 2 years now. Like, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, super easy. It's soy milk, cocoa powder, agave.
You can also use maple syrup.
Or any sweetener of your choice. Basically, that's it.
Yeah.
You could use any other milk, plant-based milk that you enjoy. You could even use almond milk or rice milk if that is your thing.
If that's your jam.
If that's your jam. But yeah, it's super easy and super simple. There's also, you can look for prepackaged hot chocolates that say just add milk. And those are usually vegan. The ones that say just add water are not vegan. Okay. They usually have some dairy solids or whey or something to like add give that creamy to it. But the ones that say just add milk, you can get those, obviously double check and make sure they're vegan, and then add your own plant-based milk. So, for example, there's a Starbucks one that's a prepackaged hot chocolate that's vegan, and you can just add it to soy milk or whatever. And then we got this one brand called Silly Cow Farms. Guessing it's not intentionally vegan because it's like they're trying to sell their milk, like buy this hot chocolate powder and then add it to our milk, but we get it and add it to our soy milk.
Yeah, well, because I feel like I saw that in the store. A friend gave us this one, the hot cocoa, and it was really delicious. I feel like I saw one that was like a pumpkin hot cocoa, or like there was an alternate flavor that was also vegan.
Nice.
So they both might just be accidentally vegan, or they might be a company that just, a funny name.
Yeah. I don't know what the backstory is. But
that was really good. And this one was the chocolate truffle hot cocoa mix.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Really good. And has like a different flavor.
Yeah. That truffle,
richness.
I think.
Yeah. It's got like a richness.
Yeah.
So look into those. Those other good options as well. And then, if you just want to be even more simple and basic, you could just get like a chocolate syrup. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we would put chocolate syrup in milk and make chocolate milk that way. Yeah. And so like the Hershey's syrup brand is vegan. And there's lots of other chocolate syrup brands. You could just pour some of that in some soy milk, and there you go, chocolate milk.
Yep. And then you can also make your own chocolate syrup, too.
Yes.
Is it equal parts?
Equal parts maple syrup and cocoa powder. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
there you go.
Easy, quick way to make it. All right, let's talk a little bit about teas. Mm-hmm. Now, you teased us earlier with the chai. Little teaser.
You guys, you have no idea. I did, and it's so good. It's just a simple like tea bag of chai, like the hot chai, and you just do that, steep it like you would normally, and you put that sweet and creamy in, and it is very close to like a latte style. I bet you could get one of those barista oat milk latte fancy creamer things and make a genuine latte, but
for sure,
for me, I don't go that route. So for me, the sweet and creamy does it.
Absolutely.
And I actually like the sweet and creamy in a number of teas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that aside from chai, because there's so many versions of chai you could get, and you could like probably never even get tired of chai because there's like different spices and varieties. But there's other like herbal teas that are like seasonal that we like to do, like the fall blend from Trader Joe's.
It's the harvest spice or something. It's got a fox on it. That one is really, really delicious with the sweet and creamy.
It is. And then there's one from, I think, Celestial Seasonings called Bengal Spice.
Oh, yes.
And that one's good, like in the fall with a splash of that sweet and creamy, or even the Silk Original. Whatever creamer you like, it's so good like that.
Yeah. It's just a good way to get an alternative to like milk and tea. You know what I mean? Like some people, there's certain teas that they drink milk with. These creamers are really good substitutes for that.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Because I also really like Earl Grey with a splash of milk, but I like it with one of these creamers, the unsweetened, like the Silk Half and Half goes really well in it, and the Soy Original goes really good in Earl Grey. Yeah,
it's funny because I'm Jean-Luc Picard. Earl Grey, hot. The end.
Well, I like it hot too, but with a splash.
I know. Just
a splash.
Yeah.
All right, so venture out with the teas. Try some different things if you like some milk or creamer in your teas.
And I think like if you like the holiday blends, like the seasonal blends, there are often, like in the fall, there'll be like the pumpkin creamers and things like that. And then in the winter, there's sometimes like the peppermint and the mochas and the things like that. So you can really seasonally be involved in those sort of holiday things with your creamers and your coffees and your teas and stuff.
Yes.
So
speaking of seasonal, I just wanted to spend a minute or two talking about PSLs.
Okay.
Hashtag PSL. Pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
Because I'm a huge fan of these. I've been a fan since like way before they were a thing.
Yeah.
Like I've been into these for years and years.
Yeah.
Sadly, most of the ones that you get at like, chain coffee shops are not vegan. Like at Starbucks, there's milk in the pumpkin
syrup
flavoring.
Yeah.
And I believe same thing at like McDonald's and other places that you can get them nationwide. Most of them are not vegan. I don't know why Starbucks doesn't get on the ball. I've only been writing to them for like 5 years now.
I feel like there was a rumor that it was coming, but then, 2020
But then they were like, maybe you want avocado toast instead. Oh, that was Dunkin' Donuts. Sorry, back to this. But check your local places because there is a locally owned restaurant here in Albuquerque that makes vegan pumpkin spice coffees called Leona Banh Mi.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
It's good to see they're listening. So maybe your other, locally owned, your mom and pop places are listening, even if Starbucks don't listen. And it's cooler to shop local anyway.
Yeah. You get to support those places.
Yeah. So, check those out. If you want to make one at home, we have a easy recipe on our website to just make your own. We use canned pumpkin, and it's a pretty simple recipe. You just make your pumpkin sauce.
The other thing that you used to do to give our coffee flavor when we had a traditional drip coffee pot, because now we have a French press. So I guess we could use it in the French press too. Yeah. Tony would sometimes put cinnamon in the coffee grounds and it would flavor the coffee, and it was so good. And you did that one time with pumpkin spice also, and it was really delicious. So that's another way, if like you go to that recipe and you're like, okay, I don't want to work with pumpkin, or I don't want latte style, I just want the flavor in my coffee, put it in the grounds, because it mixes and steeps better when you put it on top and try to mix it in, especially cinnamon. It's hard to get it to mix into your coffee. It like wants to clump up on the top.
You want it to brew with
with the grounds, and it's really, really delicious. So that's another way to get some flavoring in regular coffee grounds.
Yep. Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's like my super cheater PSL. When I want a pumpkin spice coffee, but I don't want to do all the work, or I don't want to open a can of pumpkin or whatever. Yeah, just put some pumpkin spice in the grounds when you brew it, and then use some of that sweet and creamy like you were talking about.
Yep.
Cheater PSL.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
All right, so let's talk just really quickly about ordering coffee at coffee shops.
Okay.
Because sometimes some people are just overwhelmed just trying to order coffee at a coffee shop. Like first time at Starbucks, like I don't actually know how to order. Like I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, the sizes are how big is it tall?
And there's all these
that.
variations, and I don't know what all these words mean. So I totally get that. And then if you're trying to make it vegan, that's an extra layer of like, now I extra don't know what's going on. So quickly, we're not going to do the whole tutorial about how to order.
Yeah.
But really quickly about how to make sure it's vegan, you do have to ask, like, do you add whipped cream to the top or something like that? If you do, you want to ask them to omit that, no whipped cream.
Yep.
So that's just kind of first off the top. And then you want to ask, what plant-based milks and or creamers they have.
Yeah.
Hopefully most coffee shops nowadays will have at least one or two options. At least one. They might have some options you can choose, because then I like to say, please do soy, not whatever the other thing is.
Yeah.
But, ask what's available. And then you want to ask if you're getting a latte or something with syrups or sweeteners or other flavorings, you have to ask if those have milk and or honey.
Yeah.
Because like we mentioned, that pumpkin sauce, the pumpkin flavoring has milk in it. And sometimes you're surprised with those other ones as well.
Yeah.
And you're mainly asking for milk and honey.
Yeah.
They usually don't have egg or
right.
something else like that.
And I think you can probably, I would imagine, because there's whole articles about is Starbucks PSLs vegan, and you can find that information. Yeah. So if there's a syrup in particular that you're looking for, you should be able to Google it and say, is, such and such syrup or flavoring at Starbucks vegan, or at, Satellite vegan, or whatever. And you should probably be able to find something somewhere. And then, of course, if you can't, you can just ask them.
Right. And then, you might just ask, like, what is going in this? Like, if you say you just order a vanilla latte, and then just ask, what syrups and flavorings go in that? And then you can ask about those specific ones.
Yeah.
And I always, caution people to ask about chai. If you order a chai out, you would think it's just chai tea, like you make at home, and you would think it's vegan. But a lot of coffee shops use, like, pre-mixed chai, or this, like, liquid chai that's pre-made, or a powder.
Yeah.
Often the powders will have some type of milk product.
Yep.
The liquids are usually milk free, but a lot of times they have honey as a sweetener. So you just want to ask about those ingredients in the chai mix that they use. And if it's like a smaller shop, or if it's not busy, sometimes you could ask them, like, can I just read the ingredients? Can you just show me the package? Because sometimes you get the, like, I don't think so. Or they scan the ingredients real quick. Like, no, it looks good. And then you're like, can I just see it though?
Yeah.
So yeah, just a caution about that, because I'm not a huge fan of chai, but I really like dirty chais.
I like chai.
Which is
it's a coffee and a chai latte.
Yeah. Latte mixed with chai is so good. But that's basically it. You just want to ask the questions, ask for the whip, if they put whipping cream on top, to leave that out. Usually it's pretty easy. You can just, if it's a latte, just sub for the plant-based milk. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have more questions about anything, please reach out, and I'm happy to keep this conversation going for all of eternity. I think Mickey's done with this conversation right now.
I mean, I don't know how much more I have to contribute. So definitely Tony's your guy.
But yeah, reach out. Tell us what your favorite creamers are. I'd love to hear what your favorites are. And I want to try new ones, so that I can go back to my silk. But I'm just kidding. I do like to try new ones. And yeah, let us know what you think. What's your favorite pumpkin spice latte? What's your favorite tea? Into all of this. As always, thank you for joining us. Enjoy your coffee. Enjoy your warm beverage today. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. We release new episodes every 2 weeks. You can always email us at plantbased@apnm.org, or visit our website at apnm.org/plant-based for classes, recipes, and more resources.
See you in 2 weeks.